Picture this. You're standing in the grocery store, looking at the jumbo pack of toilet paper. You know it's cheaper per roll, you know it'll last months, you know it's the smart choice. But you've got $18 in your account until Friday, and the jumbo pack is $22. So you grab the small pack for $7. You just paid 40% more for the same thing because you didn't have an extra $4. That's not bad budgeting. That's a tax on being broke. And it doesn't stop at toilet paper. It's your bank account, your car, your time, your rent, your stress, your sleep. Every single day, you are paying a premium that people with money never see. You didn't lose $4 on toilet paper. Over a year, you lost $200 because you didn't have $4 when you needed it. My name is Leo, and I spend an unhealthy amount of time thinking about the hidden math that quietly keeps normal people broke. And here's what I've learned. You are not bad with money. You are inside a system that charges a penalty for not having money. It's called the poverty premium. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. So if you've ever felt like you're working harder than your parents did and getting less, or like you're doing everything right and still drowning, stick around. Because the math I'm about to show you will make you angry, but it'll also make everything make sense. And if this resonates, subscribe, because we're pulling back the curtain on all of it. Here's what we've been told. Work hard, skip the latte, save your pennies, budget better. Stop being irresponsible. So you do. You cut cable, you meal prep, you say no to going out, you track every dollar, and somehow you're still broke. Somehow, an unexpected $300 expense still ruins your month, and the system says you must be doing something wrong. But here's the part nobody talks about. The system isn't designed for you to win. It's designed to extract maximum revenue from people living on the edge. And it does this through a mechanism most people never see. It works like this. When you don't have a buffer, you can't buy in bulk, so you pay more per unit. When you can't afford the repair, the problem gets worse, so you pay more later. When you overdraft by $12, you pay a $35 fee. That's a 292% penalty for being short one day. The trap isn't that you're spending wrong. The trap is that not having money costs money, and the less you have, the more everything costs. Banks charge you for not having enough in your account. Landlords charge more because you can't put down a deposit to buy. Employers pay you less because you can't afford to wait for a better job. Lenders charge higher interest because your credit score reflects your lack of margin, not your character. Here's why the system benefits. A customer living paycheck to paycheck is a profitable customer. They pay fees, they pay interest, they can't negotiate, they can't wait, they take the first price offered. They are, economically speaking, a captive market. And we're about to break down exactly how much this costs you. Let's start with something small. Bank fees. You overdraft by $10. Your bank charges $35. You think, okay, annoying, but it's one fee. But let's do the actual math. You borrowed $10 from the bank for 3 days until payday, and you paid $35 for that privilege. That's an interest rate of 36,500% APR. Not a typo, 36,000%. But here's what really happens. That $35 fee drops your account further. So now you overdraft again buying gas, another $35. You're $80 down before you even got paid. One bad week just cost you $80 in penalties for being $10 short. Over a year, the average overdraft user pays $250 in fees. That's $250 that someone with a $1,000 buffer never pays. It's a poor tax, and we're just getting started. Now let's talk about boots. You need work boots. The cheap pair is $40. The good pair is $120. You buy the cheap pair because that's what you have. They last 6 months. So over 3 years, you buy boots 6 times. That's $240. The person who could afford the $120 pair, they bought once. You paid double for the exact same function because you couldn't afford the upfront cost. This is everywhere. Tires, appliances, furniture, clothes. The cheap version breaks, the expensive version lasts, and if you can't afford durable, you pay forever. Let's go bigger. Cars. You need a car for work. You have $2,000, so you buy a $2,000 car. It breaks down every 4 months, $300 here, $500 there. Over 2 years, you spend $4,000 in repairs. Total cost, $6,000 for a car that's still broken. Meanwhile, someone with $8,000 bought a reliable used car. They spent $500 in maintenance over 2 years. Total cost, $8,500. They paid $2,500 more up front and saved $2,500 overall. You paid more and got less because you didn't have enough to start with. Now, watch what happens with rent. You're paying $1,200 a month. Over 10 years, that's $144,000, and at the end, you own nothing. Someone who could afford a down payment bought a house. Their mortgage was $1,100. After 10 years, they paid $132,000, and they own an asset worth $250,000. You paid more, and you're still renting. Let's add it up. Overdraft fees, $250 a year, buying cheap products that break, $400 a year, extra car repairs, $1,200 a year, rent premium versus ownership, $1,200 a year, small pack groceries versus bulk, $300 a year. That's $3,350 a year you are paying just for not having money. Over 10 years, $33,500. That's the cost of being broke. Let that sink in. Here's the worst part. You already know all this. You're not stupid. So why does it keep happening? Because poverty doesn't just cost money. It costs brain power. There's a study from Princeton that found that financial stress reduces cognitive function by the equivalent of 13 IQ points. That's the same as losing a full night of sleep. When you're worried about rent, about overdrafts, about your car will start, your brain is running background processes 24/7. You're solving financial Tetris in your head while trying to work, parent, eat, sleep. That's decision fatigue, and it makes you worse at decisions. So you take the payday loan because you can't think 3 months ahead when you're drowning today. You buy the fast food because cooking feels impossible after working 10 hours and commuting on the bus. You skip the dentist because $100 now feels like a disaster, even though it'll be $2,000 later. This isn't laziness, it's triage, it's survival mode. And here's the cruel twist. The system interprets survival mode as irresponsibility. It says, why'd you take that payday loan? Why'd you overdraft? Why didn't you save? As if you chose this, as if the math wasn't rigged from the start. You didn't fail the system. The system is designed to fail you. Okay, deep breath, because here's the shift. You can't fix the system, but you can stop playing by its rules. The goal isn't more money, it's flexibility, it's margin, it's a buffer between you and disaster, and you build it with small, strategic moves. Step 1. Stop the biggest leak first. Look at your last 3 months. Find the one expense that's quietly killing you. Overdraft fees? Cancel the account and go cash only. Payday loan cycle? Call a nonprofit credit counselor. Expensive car repairs? Sell it and buy something cheaper that's more reliable, even if it's uglier. Find the vampire cost and kill it. Step 2. Build a $500 buffer. Not $1,000, not 3 months of expenses, just $500. That's enough to avoid overdrafts, enough to buy the bulk pack, enough to fix the small problem before it's a big one. Sell something, work 1 extra shift, tax refund, birthday money, bag of coins. Don't care about how, just get to $500. Step 3. Stop buying monthly payments, start buying total cost. The $15 a month subscription feels small, but it's $180 a year forever. The $50 shoes fall apart in 3 months. The $90 shoes last 2 years. Train your brain to ask, what does this actually cost over time? Buy durable once instead of cheap repeatedly. Step 4. Reduce fixed expenses. This is the only thing that matters. Your rent, car payment, phone bill, insurance. These are the costs you pay no matter what. If you can shave $100 off fixed costs, that's $100 of breathing room every single month. Move to a cheaper place, get a roommate, switch phone plans, refinance the loan. Fixed costs are the prison. Margin is the key. Step 5. Increase your margin, not your lifestyle. Every raise, every tax refund, every extra $20 goes into the buffer until you have 1 month of expenses saved. Not for fun, for freedom. Because the difference between $0 in the bank and $1,500 in the bank isn't $1,500. It's the ability to say no, to wait, to choose. Step 6. Protect your time. Being broke is expensive because everything takes longer. Laundromat versus washer, bus versus car, cooking from scratch versus meal kit. If you can afford to buy back 1 hour a week, that's 52 hours a year to work more, rest more, or think more. Time is the only non-renewable resource. Spend money to protect it when you can. Step 7. Stop measuring income. Start measuring margin. Someone making $60,000 with $58,000 in fixed costs has $2,000 of margin. Someone making $40,000 with $34,000 in fixed costs has $6,000 of margin. The second person is richer. Build your life around margin, not income. Here's the truth they don't want you to know. The math of being broke is designed to keep you broke. Every fee, every penalty, every convenience charge, every high-interest loan is a tax on not having enough, and it compounds silently, brutally, every single day. But you are not the problem. The incentives are. And now that you see them, you can fight back, not by making more, not by skipping coffee, but by building a buffer, by killing the leaks, by buying durable, by choosing margin. Because the system wins when you're living transaction to transaction. It loses when you have room to breathe. So take the first step, find the leak, build the $500, protect the margin, and slowly, deliberately, stop paying the poor tax. If this hit home, subscribe, share it with someone who needs to hear it, and drop a comment telling me which vampire cost you're killing first. Because we're all in this together. And the more people who see the math, the less power it has. I'm Leo, and I'll see you in the next one.